Hey guys, it's Darwin here with my weekly Q&A to answer more of your questions. If you want to leave a question for next week's Q&A, you can either leave them in the comment box below or send me a video question over to darwinonthetrail@yahoo.com, and then next week I'll answer as many as I possibly can. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this week's first question. Do hikers on the AT carry firearms for protection? So good question, Sean. No, not that I know of anyways. So whenever you're out doing a trail like the AT, there's really no need to carry a firearm. Number one, both in 2015 and 2016 on the AT, there was never a time where I felt unsafe or I felt like I needed some sort of a weapon. Hell, the whole time I was out, both times, I just carried a really small pocket knife, so never really anything for protection. It was pretty much just used for cutting cheese and string. Number two, guns are heavy. You know, thru-hikers are constantly trying to get their weight down, get their base weight down so they can carry more food and more water. So carrying a gun would just be crazy heavy. The only way most thru-hikers would carry a firearm is if they figured out how to make one out of carbon fiber, make it ultra light and super compact. So no, I didn't really see anybody out on the AT carrying a firearm. I have heard stories of people carrying a gun, but there's really no reason for it, man. I have two questions. First one, how's the progress on the camper coming? Second one, do you have any recommendations for someone who broke an ankle and has a metal plate in it when it comes to hiking? So, the first question, how is the camper coming? I've had a lot of questions on me and Snuggles' camper project that we bought back in February and we've been renovating, and I guess I can't put it off any longer, so I will answer that question. We have actually sold our 1972 Lark travel trailer for a handful of reasons. Number one, when I was out on the CDT, I really got thinking about what we've come from and what we're going to do, and having a 15-foot travel trailer was actually quite a bit for us. We were going to have to sell the Black Stallion, which is our van, get a different vehicle to tow it, and it was just a lot of stuff. You know, we're used to doing a lot of stealth camping. We lived in the Black Stallion for 6 months in 2015. You know, between that, living in a tent whenever we're doing hiking, it just seemed like too much for us. The other reason we got rid of the camper is we were kind of worried about it taking too long to finish. We are going to be moving out of our apartment in August, and then we'll be moving into whatever dwelling that we have first week of August, and then hitting the road in September, and we were worried we weren't going to have enough time to do it properly. So with all that being said, we actually sold our camper and instead bought a 5x8 enclosed cargo trailer. So the reason that we did this was, number one, we can pull it with our van so we don't have to get rid of the Black Stallion. That van has become really near and dear to our hearts. We really love it. Plus, we own it, and we didn't want to have to spend more money on another vehicle so we could tow that camper. Number two, with the bed system that is already in the Black Stallion, we can take that out and retrofit it to this new cargo trailer. So it's going to be a lot easier of a project. Smaller room, obviously, but much more compact and more suited to our needs. Now, very soon I'll be doing a video showing the entire project of converting that 5x8 cargo trailer to our new home, so keep an eye out for that. But again, I've been kind of pushing off that news for a while. We did in fact sell the camper and moved on to a different project. Regardless, we are still moving in to a trailer in August and hitting the road in September to live a smaller, more minimalistic lifestyle. So keep an eye out for those updates. As far as your second question on having a metal plate in your ankle, I don't really have any advice on that. I've had some knee problems over the years. I tore my meniscus back in 2008 and then tore it again actually last year in October. So I've had to use different braces and things like that with my knee. So I would suggest maybe talking to a doctor, maybe doing a little bit of Google research and finding out the best options for you in taking care and supporting that ankle. As much as I'm not into a mid-hiking boot, I would think that a mid-hiking boot would probably be good for you as well, because it is going to give you a little bit more ankle support and a little more protection. But like I said, do your research, talk to a doctor, and find out what you need to do to support that ankle so you can get out on the trail and hike. Have you ever considered mountaineering? Yeah, a little bit. You know, I still have a lot of through hikes and kind of regular hiking ahead of me, but mountaineering is something that I've always thought about. I'm not a giant fan of being in super heavy, deep packed snow at high altitudes, so it's not exactly on the top of my list of activities to do, but it is something that I am interested in the future. I've done a little bit of winter hiking, some snowshoeing, a little bit of climbing, but no real mountaineering. Actually, back in January, a buddy named Zach and me went and tried to do a winter ascent of Mount Wheeler, bought crampons, bought snowshoes, did all of that. If you want to check that video out, I'll put the link up here. We weren't very successful in getting to the top of Wheeler. It was a lot of snow. We didn't have enough time. But, you know, it is something that maybe I'm interested in doing in the future, just not right now. I have so many plans, so many trips for hiking, through hiking, and a lot of other traveling that's just not at the top of the list. But yeah, I'd consider it. How do you take care of your beard, especially on trail? So whenever I am in normal life, I typically use beard oils, brush it, comb it, kind of that normal routine that most people do with their beards. When I'm out on the trail, I just kind of let it be. It just kind of does its own thing. I do carry a small comb by a company called Big Red Beard Comb that I take with me from trail to trail, time to time. But most of the time, I don't even really comb it. I only usually comb it when I get into a town and take a shower. It's wet and I want to get it out there. But most of the time, I just kind of let it do its thing. Whenever we're on the East Coast hiking, like on the AT, you know, the humidity and stuff is really, really good for it. Out here, it gets a little bit drier, but I typically don't do any special type of beard care for my beard. I just kind of let it rock. Let it kind of blow in the wind and do its own thing. What are your typical comfort items you initially start out with, and what are some that you pick up along the way? I don't really have a lot of comfort items. The only two main things I consider a comfort item would be my ass pad, my Thermarest Z-Lite sit pad. I call it an ass pad. I absolutely love that thing. It's really great to sit down at camp, but I also use it for multiple purposes. I put it between my knees when I sleep at night because I am a side sleeper to make sure that my knees kind of aren't pressing together. I use it as a windscreen around my stove whenever I am using a stove. I use it to start fires, and I use it to sit on. So it's not just so much a comfort item as it is a multi-purpose item that I use. And then the other comfort item that I would say that I typically use is a pillow. I use a Sea to Summit UL Aeros pillow. I didn't use that for years and years and years. In 2016, when Snuggles and I returned to the AT, it was just kind of something I wanted to try and ended up really, really loving it. I did a gear review on that whenever we got back from the AT, so if you want to check that out, I'll put the link up here in the corner and you can check out that review on that pillow. And it's really helped me get some really good sleep while on the trail, much better than I ever did before I had a pillow. I used to make fun of those things all the time. Got one just to kind of see what all the hype was, and I'll never go back. So I would say that is my number one comfort item. Comfort items that I pick up while on the trail, food. I don't ever pick up any extra gear while on the trail. I just pick up food. That is my comfort item, as much food as I can possibly get. So by keeping less comfort items in my gear setup, I can afford to carry more comfort item food to make sure that my belly is more comfortable. What do you think about REI equipment, particularly backpacks or other REI products? I don't really own any REI products, never have. I am an REI member. I do shop there occasionally. But I'm more of a cottage gear company kind of guy. I like supporting the underdog. I rather go to a local outfitter than REI. Not that REI is not great, but I do work at a local outfitter here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so I typically try to stay away from REI. As far as their gear, from what I know and what I've seen, their gear is great. It lasts a long time, it's quality made, and the other great thing is if you ever have a problem with any of their gear, REI will replace it. So it has a really awesome lifetime guarantee on all of it. But I just don't have any, never used any, wouldn't really know where to start with their gear. Like I said, I'm more of a cottage company guy. I like my Z-Packs gear, I like my Six Moons design gear, and I like my Enlightened equipment quilt. And you know, they don't sell those things at REI, so I'm more about supporting that underdog. But you should definitely check out some REI gear and maybe test it out for yourself and see what you think. Hey Darwin, when are you headed out next year on the PCT. I'm going to set mine for the 30th of April when the permits open up. So I don't really have a particular date set yet for my PCT Thru-Hike next year. I want to start in early April, but obviously that's the weather permitting. If any of you guys have been following along with the weather reports out on the PCT this year, they got slammed with snow, and there's still a lot of snow out there. So a lot of people had to reschedule their hike and start later in the month. I was going to hike the PCT this year, but with all of the things that Snuggles and I have going on, I decided it was a better idea to set that for 2018, and I was going to start as early April as I possibly could. So right now, it's just kind of up in the air, but I'll be doing a lot of videos in the coming year on my prep for the PCT, so I'm sure my dates will change a ton, my gear will change, so keep following here on the channel for all of those videos, all those updates, and hopefully I'll see you out there, man. Alright guys, last question for the week. Hi, I'm going on 2 hiking trips this year and I'm struggling with deciding what to bring in regards to clothing. More specifically, whether I should bring my soft shell jacket or and a fleece jacket in addition to my rain gear. I really want to watch weight of my pack, but hate being cold. The trips are to Scotland and Sweden, which are both notorious for being cold, wet, and windy. So, any advice to this Dutch hiker? So, as far as a soft shell jacket or a fleece, the best advice I can give you is use the Thru-Hiker layering system. So, no matter what trail I'm on, no matter if I'm on the East Coast where it's super windy and rainy and wet, kind of like what you're talking about, or out here in the Southwest in the desert, I use the same layering system. I typically have 1 pair of pants, 1 pair of shorts, a pair of tights, a down jacket, and a rain jacket, and that is it. And it's all about layering. So when I used to backpack, I would bring things like a fleece, a soft shell jacket, and then found out through years of hiking and trying to get ultralight, the best thing to do was to layer clothes when I was cold. So typically when hiking, I'll wear a t-shirt and either a pair of shorts or pants. If I am cold, I'll put on a pair of tights under my shorts or pants. If it's rainy, I'll put my rain jacket on. If it's rainy and cold, I'll put my tights, my down jacket, and then my rain shell over that, which traps in the heat from the down jacket and keeps me warm. Obviously, also having a pair of gloves and a sock hat, but it's all about layering when you want to go ultralight. So try to put together the best clothes system that you possibly can to where you can wear it warm, you can wear it cool, you can wear it cold, and you can wear it freezing. You might also consider something like a pair of rain pants or a rain kilt. I've never been a big fan. I typically know I'm gonna get wet anyways. As long as I have a dry pair of clothes to sleep in my bag, I'm totally okay with my pants and my shorts getting wet while I'm hiking, and I just try to dry out when I get to camp. So I'm not usually a big fan of rain pants and a rain kilt, but that might be something that you want to give a try. But like I said, it's all about layering. Keep it ultra light, layer down, but the only jackets that I would recommend using is a down jacket and a rain jacket. Those two combined can keep you pretty warm. So I'll leave a link in the description box below on my clothes layering system, and you can go check that out and maybe kind of use it to figure out what's gonna work for you. But that layering system is what I used on the AT in 2015, on the AT in 2016, and pretty much what I'm currently using as of today. So check that out. Good luck on your upcoming hikes. And like I said, just get that dialed in and figure out what's gonna work for you. All right guys, so if you have a question for next week's Q&A, you can either leave it in the comment box below or send me a video question over to darwinonthetrail@yahoo.com, and then next week I'll answer as many as I possibly can. If you haven't got a chance yet, go over and check me out on Instagram. I'm posting a lot of new photos lately of some of the things that Snuggles and I have going on throughout the week, plus photos of some past hikes and some ideas for some future hikes, so go check those out if you haven't already. If you dug this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and as always guys, thanks for watching.